Right, it's Dan on the Rock Show. I'm going to get these guys to introduce themselves.
All right, cool. Well, I'll start. I'm Thomas Nicholas I'm just going to say TNB, otherwise I'm saying my name twice. And to my right.
I'm Matt Kennedy of TNB.
I'm EJ Morgan, TNB.
They're taking the piss out of me now.
I'm John Schaefer, TNB.
And I'm interviewing TNB. Understanding that you guys have already played?
Yeah, we just played at the Thekla.
And how was it?
It was good, man.
What did you think of the Thekla?
It was cool. Last year we played the acoustic stage, which isn't here this year.
Okay.
We opened up for Chris Rowe from the Ataris, and the acoustic stage was just outside of the Thekla. And I remember thinking like how cool it was, like, oh, they got a venue on a boat.
Yeah.
So it was just cool that we got to actually play on the boat, because I mean, you know, venues are venues, but not many venues are on boats.
My first time playing on a boat.
Did you feel it rocking?
I did, yeah.
It was awesome.
You guys have played the same venue as quite a few people when they're doing similar to you, which is like their first run. So it's like one of those entrenched places that it's not the biggest, but everybody loves playing it. So,
dude, it's awesome. I mean, and I was pretty stoked with the turnout. You know,
Yep.
I thought like, oh man, we're playing in the afternoon. You know, but again, it was probably good because obviously you have all the headliners that go on later in the day.
Yeah.
So you know, we don't want to try to compete with that in any way, shape, or form. We're still getting our feet wet, even though this is our 5th tour over here.
really, 5th tour?
Yeah. Well, this is the first time with the full band.
Okay.
But Matt and I did 2, 3, 2.
We did 4. This is our 4th together.
Yeah, so we did 3 acoustic tours together. 2012, which was meant to be a full band tour. That's a whole other story. And then we did 2 acoustic tours. Like I said, we were here last year.
Excellent.
It was cool, man, because Kids in Glass Houses played the Thekla, and then halfway through our set, they had ended.
Okay.
So everyone came out. So we had 30 people there, and then when Kids in Glass Houses ended, we had 200 people. That kind of stopped to listen to us, and they stayed for the rest of the set, so it was cool.
How did the sort of crowd change from doing acoustic to doing a full band?
I think people get into the full band a little bit more. I mean, people like the acoustic stuff because, a song's a song.
Yep.
But they definitely move a lot more when we have the full band.
And were you playing security last year, or is that just this year that you've been...
This is sort of I know, I kind of cheated a little bit because I released the Security EP. And the main reason that I did that was I had grown up with 90s rock, so all my stuff had a post-grunge feel.
Yeah.
And when I did the Security EP, it was a shift to indie rock.
Okay.
And I wanted to test the water and not just release a full album and be like, yeah, right, we're just going to take a left turn.
Yeah.
So I released the EP, and it went over pretty well. We had a single off of there called Terrified.
Okay.
And then we did a Pledge Music campaign for the full-length album.
Okay.
Which, you probably know Pledge Music because they're based out of London. They started before Kickstarter, so...
Yeah.
Screw Kickstarter. Because you can also add a charitable element. So we also raise money for St. Jude, which is a children's research foundation.
Okay.
So we turned the EP into an LP. So we kept the 4 songs that were the singles, and then just added the remaining 6.
And are they going down well so far?
Yeah, we have. We've released 3 singles here in the UK.
Yep.
So Terrified was in the fall. Do you call it fall or autumn? You call
Autumn.
It? Yeah, I know. I say fall, everyone's like, what? So we had Terrified in autumn, and we had in January we had Don't Stop, and then now we've gone and released the title track Security, which is the title of the EP and the LP. That's where I cheated. And then we also did a music video.
Yes.
Which we did that in this really, really cool spot, which I'm going to let Matt tell you about that because Matt is from Springfield, Illinois,
Nice.
Where his previous band, The Graduate, is from. And so he had this cool idea. So you told me about, what's the spot called?
It's called Southtown, but basically there's a community of a lot of kids that are in local bands, and they were always looking for a place to play. So this guy who had started the first indoor skate ramp in America, it's called Skank Skates,
Oh, nice.
had a bunch of warehouses kind of around his skate park. And so he eventually made this venue called the Black Sheep Cafe. And it's all straight edge, underage venue, which a lot of kids didn't really have any outlet to actually go to shows there and stuff.
That's awesome,
man.
Now it's the longest running.
Longest running all ages venue. So we have the longest indoor skate park and the all ages venue right next to each other. They made a recording studio, and then they actually opened another record store called Dumb Records next to it. And there's a ton of the kids that work there. They all live there too. Okay. It's a big kind of almost like a hippie commune, like if you will.
That's
Punk
amazing.
rock oasis.
Yeah,
And then
punk
there's
rock
the
oasis.
skate shop upstairs called Booth City.
Yeah, and so it just had the idea that like let's just involve this whole sort of scene and all these different shops and these kids just all together and make a storyline out of the area. And then they were nice enough to let us use the venue when it wasn't being used at the time. We shot all the live stuff inside there, and then the rest of it was just all filmed around there.
Yeah, so they have a stage on the top of one of the skate ramps. So we had like people skating, as you can see in the music video, while we're playing.
That's cracking. I really like that. So it's almost blown me away because we've got nothing like that over in England, nothing which is, well, grown that much. So that's pretty cool. How did you guys get started? Like, where did you all come together?
Well, my band has kind of been a revolving door of different musicians over the years. I mean, I've been playing music for a long time, but I've only been touring for the last 8 years or so. Okay. And in that time, I've released now 6 albums. I guess 2 of them were EPs.
Yeah.
But in 2012, I did an American Reunion college tour because I landed a song on the soundtrack of American Reunion.
Nice. They could hardly deny you it though.
No, they could deny me because they did.
Really?
I've been making music longer than I've been making American Pie films. So on the first film, I had released my first record, which I don't really promote and don't talk about, and you'll never hear because it sucks now. But at the time, I was really proud of it. Anyway, I asked the producers, like, oh, can I put a song on? The producers and directors were like, yeah, totally. And then the music supervisor just like cut me off. So I tried on the second film, same thing, cut off by the same music supervisor. Tried on the third film, same thing. So then, a few years go by, we do American Reunion, which obviously was never really in the plan. No. But, American Reunion comes around and I'm like, man, okay, they've denied me this, this sort of phone call.
Yeah.
So I played a show, just an acoustic show for the whole cast and crew at the rap party.
Nice.
I went to get a drink at the bar, and they're like, man, we got to put a song using the soundtrack. I was like, oh, okay, sure. And then they did.
Really?
So I earned it. I never
cool.
gave up.
That's cool, man. Like, at least you can say that you did earn it,
Yeah.
As you say, well, the first one you're not so proud of now. So if that had been on the soundtrack, you'd always be like...
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. I think there's a lot to be said about perception of things. Maybe if it had come out there, then I would have started touring earlier. But you're probably right. All's well that ends well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a bit more for yourself, but do you prefer music to acting, or is it sort of an even balance for you?
It's 2 different beasts, but I love them both for different reasons.
Yeah.
Obviously the band is a live thing, and the acting thing, but I still do both. Yeah. I'm not going to pretend like Jared Leto pretended like he hated acting and then goes and wins an Oscar. I'm not a liar. I'm honest, and I love doing both, and so I continue to do both. To answer your previous question, because I totally sidetracked us, but I did a bus tour on the Gibson buses, 30 colleges around the states.
Oh, nice.
To promote American Reunion and the song on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And so Matt, as I mentioned, was in a band called The Graduate, and in 2008, I jumped on a show with The Graduate, like sort of the, this word is the worst, the soft opener.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't on the tour.
Okay.
But it just, I happened to, I didn't even know.
Your schedule just worked out, so
Yeah.
you were able to jump on and open up acoustic and stuff.
Yeah, so I just played like 3 songs before, when doors open to when the first band goes.
Yeah.
I jumped on and did like 3 songs in that little interim. And then Matt and I had a beer. You tell the story better than I do, but...
Well, I mean, I saw him backstage. I had never met him before, and I was like, oh, it's the dude from Rookie of the Year, because that was one of my favorite movies growing up. It's an American baseball movie where he breaks his arm when he's 12, and when it heals, he can pitch like 100-mile-an-hour fastball. And then he plays for the Cubs. They win the World Series, which they haven't won in like 100 years, so everybody loves it. Yeah, and I don't know, we just had a beer, kind of broed down, if you will. And I fast forward like 3.5 years later, and my buddies own kind of like a promotional company and stuff, and they were putting together a tour for the American Reunion tour that he did. Okay. And needed a tour manager. I hadn't even put 2 and 2 together until they told me his name, and then when we got it on the phone, we're like, I think we've met before. And
Yeah, and then really what happened on the tour is the guitar player shortly after the tour quit, and I really should have just fired him on the tour and had Matt play guitar then. But as soon as the guitar player quit, then I brought Matt into the band, and he's been playing with me ever since. And then Matt is part of another band because he lives in Nashville now, called Fast Astronaut, which we're on tour with. So they've been our support band for a minute, and that's where EJ and John come into play.
Okay.
Because EJ, John, and Matt and Luke are all part of Fast Astronaut, which is produced by Andy Wildrick.
From he's in the Deer Hunter and University.
So it kind of worked out well where Matt and I were already playing in a band, so then I sort of steal EJ and John, even though EJ's the lead singer and the leader of Fast Astronaut, I make him play bass. and John still plays drums in both. So it's cool because we essentially have 5 dudes that are 2 bands. So it makes touring, a little bit more affordable. You don't need as much room.
I imagine it tires a few of the members out across the nights, though, if you're doing double duty.
When we do Midwest tours in the States around Illinois, Matt also has a solo project that he released the Blank EP under his own name, and so then he's the opener. So Matt is like James Brown. He's like the hardest working man in show business because he's in the opening act, he's in Fast Astronaut, the main support, and the Thomas Nicholas Band.
Do you bother leaving stage, or do you just stay there? Do you know what I mean?
I step off, I grab a beer, and then I step right back on. Pretty much. A lot of times I have to switch my setup of where my pedals are, or what I'm playing, if I'm playing acoustic or something. But other than, not much of a breather, maybe 3 to 5 minutes.
Do you ever mess with people and like wear a different mask?
I should have. I always thought that I should do a quick wardrobe change, like a wig. A wig or something like that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It tires me out for sure, but it's a lot of fun.
So you guys going to stay together as you are now, and like move forward as a band? Is that the plan?
I mean, I think Matt and I certainly have put in enough work and enough tours together. That I kind of always seen Matt in the band.
Yeah.
I feel like EJ and John are obviously focused on Fast Astronaut. So as they continue to do tours with me, there might be a day where I'm opening up for them.
Yep, that's cool.
So, and that's cool. You never really know what's going to happen to music and what people are into.
Yeah.
I don't really care as long as I keep getting to play.
Yeah.
So, I think we'll jam together as long as these guys are not tired of me.
Do you have any plans for the rest of the year, or are you just taking things as they come?
I'm kind of, I do have some sort of like some plans.
Yeah.
They haven't necessarily been booked out yet.
Fair enough.
But I think I'm gonna go to Vienna, to Vienna, Austria in May.
Okay.
And then, which will be my first time there. Which is cool, and I just got to go to Japan recently as well. I don't know, there's kind of like some cool stuff happening. I'm trying to work on an Australian tour, which we've tried a couple of times, but it hasn't, come together. I mean, it's kind of hard to book stuff on the other side of the world from Los Angeles. And then there's, what I really want to do is come back, because we've been playing England and Wales on these tours.
Yeah.
We've done like 1 show in Scotland, so I'm hoping to come back in autumn.
Yeah.
And play Scotland and Ireland, because I've never been to Ireland. I'm a quarter Irish. It's a shame.
Wow. You've got 2 different islands to go to as well. You've got Northern and then just
I
Ireland.
hear we should probably go to Northern Ireland.
A little bit.
Although our plan is to probably play Scotland and then maybe play 1 show in Holyhead and then take a ferry over, which I think would probably land us in mainland Ireland. Dublin? Okay.
I'd love to play Dublin and Belfast.
I don't know my geography.
I mean, Belfast isn't that
know where the
Northern
ferry
Ireland, right?
lands.
Isn't Belfast in Northern Ireland?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and then Dublin's and regular.
Well, if you do both, then you've hit the entirety of the UK and Ireland. So you can say you've done the whole set.
That's our
I would
hope.
love to do
that.
We got to finish it up. I mean, and I would love to play. We have so much fun at Hit the Deck. I would love to play some other festivals here.
Yeah.
So I'm really trying for that as well. But my band has never been signed to a label, not for lack of trying. It's much like landing a song on the soundtrack of American Pie.
I'm
not giving up,
Yeah.
but it just hasn't happened yet.
That's a good philosophy to have. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care when I get there, just as long as I get there.
Well, it's been absolutely awesome speaking with you guys. Thanks for taking a couple of minutes to chat with us.
Dan, thank you so much for talking with us, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I'll, while we're on tour or when we're back, we'll continue chatting it up on Twitter.
Sounds good.
Cool, it's Mike from the Mike James Rock Show. It's Mr. Joey Tempest from Europe.
Hey, thanks for having me on here.
No, thanks for coming down to Exeter,
Yeah.
man.
I don't believe we've